Brohood Productions. I'm Alma,
Uh, I'm JP.
and we are here to talk about Avatar: The Last Airbender live action series on Netflix. Do do do. That's right, right?
Make sure
Or
to put in the background the music.
uh, we got a great show for you guys today. Bear with us as uh we're gonna be this is the first time we've actually talked about it together.
Yep.
And we don't know what any of us thinks. We just think we know what each other thinks.
I think though we're on the same wavelength.
I'm hoping so.
So let's get right into it.
Yes. I agree with a content creator out there. I forget his name at this point in time, but I do believe this show is going to divide the fandom because head over heels, this is way better than M. Night's movie, but that doesn't mean it was good.
So, real quick, bro. Um, Interesting. I didn't know that the original writers and the creators of the Netflix production team they split ways. And I think for good reason. I apologize in advance too. I think I got the flu. So if I seen out of it or whatever, sorry.
Yeah, JP's
Um,
sick, and I had surgery this week, so we're both
yeah, there you
okay.
go. So what I wish I would have known coming into this live action series is that this was an adaptation, whatever the frick that means. Um, it's not a concrete it's similar, it's not the same. And I have a lot of problems. And like Alma said, it's head over heels better than M. Night Shyamalan crappy movie. This one's way better. Yet I think if this would have come out at the same time when that movie came out, like if it was a live action TV show, I think we would have gotten the same reaction almost. It might have been better reactions. I think people who are watching the show, it's kind of split. I feel like there's this newer generation that saw the series um later in life, and so then they saw this one. And then there are the people who saw this, who saw there's a generation that saw the original series before the movie. And so I've seen a lot of different mixed opinions. It's very interesting on Rotten Tomatoes. I don't know, you can look this up to keep us on check. But I think the critic review is low, really low, better than M. Night Shyamalan. The audience reaction, I'm very surprised. I think it says 75% or something. On IMDb, it says 7.5. Now, I don't know why people are giving this live action series a 10 out of 10. I really don't understand. Because if I came into if like I said, if I would have known this is an adaptation and not a literal the same, I think I would have been more lenient on my opinions on the show. I think right off the bat there was already too many changes I didn't like. So we'll go into that. That's my initial thoughts. Bro, you can share your initial thoughts.
My
I think
initial thoughts are the following. I don't want a carbon copy of a show, but I want the show to be as exciting as the original product. So that is my initial thoughts because when you watch the 2 trailers for this show, you are more excited about this show. Then you watch episode 1 with this expectation, yes, admittingly, that it's going to be like the cartoon, and then it's not. So then you accept it. You go into episode 2, you go, "Oh my goodness. This is okay." Then you get into the rest of the episodes and you're disappointed. So I hope that throughout our video, you guys stick around and listen to why we think the way we think. You ready?
Yes.
Okay, the first comment I want to make about the casting is this. Thank you to the hardworking people who write stuff, direct stuff, and try to perfect their craft in a show or in a movie. That's the first thing I want to say. Because what I'm about to say next is going to hurt some feelings.
Mhm.
I don't think there was good acting for most of this series.
100% agree with you. Acting sucked.
I do want to say, however, that if we're going to get 3 seasons of this live action adaptation, I hope the actors grow into their role and can produce better performances. Does that make sense? Because first and foremost, besides Appa, Momo, the Fire Lord, there's only one person that I connected with the entire time through the casting, and that was Ian Osley, who plays Sokka. I think he did a good job. I think everybody else, besides the other people I mentioned, Appa, Momo, Fire Lord, and Sokka, those 4 people.
So, quick thought. I don't think. I think. When I watched Sokka, I didn't get Sokka vibes. That's just my opinion. I felt more like he was Riley from National Treasure. That's who I felt I was watching. Not Sokka from the show. I'm gonna say the actor for Aang sucked. Just really quickly, I never felt his playfulness, his joyfulness of a little kid. He's very different. His tone was different in the show, and I didn't really like it. So keep going, bro. I got some
Yeah,
other.
so we made a comment about how we think the casting impacts the story. So I'm gonna bring this up. Dallas Liu, congrats, my man, for getting the role of Prince Zuko. I think he can become Prince Zuko. Personally, he doesn't look like Zuko. Secondly, and I hope you agree with this part, bro, how they wrote Zuko was not written well. And this guy Dallas had to play how Zuko was written for this show. Does that make sense? So for me, it took away from the series. It wasn't until later in the 6th or 7th episode where I think he gives a better performance. But it
Yeah,
took 6 episodes for him to give a good performance.
I don't think it like his performance got better. I just think episode 6 was the better of all. Actually, all the episode, I feel like number 6 was the best of all of them. Just my opinion. I just liked that episode 6 was a good adaptation of Iroh and Zuko's relationship and their backstory.
Mhm.
It remind me, bro. Was it in episode 6 where we learn of Iroh's son's death, right? It was in that one.
No, I think that was 4 or 5 or
Oh,
3.
okay. Well, I really enjoyed the backstory of Zuko and his relationship with his crew members. Well, and I just like the relationship of Iroh and Zuko in general. So I think that was the better of all episodes. But I feel, in my opinion, that was a good adaptation.
Yeah,
That's just,
episode 6 is the most highly rated episode besides episode 2. And yeah, episode 6 was a good episode. There aren't a lot of complaints. It's called Masks because you get the blue spirit.
yeah.
Don't get
So
bored. Don't get bored, guys. The thing is with castings, I think it's a hit or miss, right, bro? You either get it right or you don't, and there's that slight possibility that can grow into it. So I want to talk about this when we get into the story. Okay, I'm about to be a big, big hater right now. My back hurts a lot, by the way. As a fan, as a fan of Avatar: The Last Airbender animated show, besides Aang, who's probably my favorite Avatar, JP knows this. My second favorite Avatar is Avatar Roku. How do you change the story so much that I don't even get to see Avatar Roku take down the monks?
yeah,
And I know
yeah.
that has to deal more with the story than with the acting, but even the acting, it wasn't Roku.
No, they brought in a character from the third season of the third book. My mistake. To capture Aang.
She wasn't in the first book. She wasn't in the first season.
No, I think she was in the sec. I think she only appeared in the second.
Wow.
She was more in the third.
So how did they? Well, because that's right, they don't track him down there. Ah, speaking. So we're bouncing all over the place. I recognize this guy. His name is Ken. I forget which movie I've seen in him besides I think it's X-Men Last Stand, but he portrayed Commander Zhao. Commander Zhao in the cartoon is scary, ruthless, and mean. Commander Zhao in the live action series is arrogant, weird, and rude. He did a good job, I think. Decent job as Zhao, but as this Zhao, not live action, not cartoon Zhao. Oh, people are gonna say, see, the thing is, you're comparing the cartoon to the. We have to, don't we? You tell me.
I think we should. I don't think excuse me. Anything's better than the movie. But we have to compare the show to the original. Why? Because that's the baseline. That's how we're judging how good it is. Like if this came out before, that would have been weird.
Yeah.
I don't know. I really don't know. I think you have to um base it off of the original. Definitely 100%. And yeah, I mean I didn't like Commander Zhao in this film. He was not here's my thing. The only positive about the show was probably Fire Lord Ozai. He was phenomenal, I think. I think he made a great, you know, Iroh at some points was okay. He was working his way up to I think I can get used to this Iroh, but you can't beat that voice. Zuko. Can't beat that voice. Can't beat that voice. Um,
I do want to
music,
mention. I do want to mention the.
the the landscape, the all of that, the scenery, cinematography was awesome. Um, but too many changes. It's just like what
Before we get to the story,
Bad adaptation.
I do want to
Yeah,
say this
go on.
about casting, and this will be a good leadway into story. In the cartoon show, they came across to me as mid teenagers. I know they're supposed to be kids. In this live action show, they kept acting like kids. And I will admit, I have a really hard time with young protagonists. I think one of the very few is Harry Potter that I have been able to get through and enjoy and like a lot. But for some reason, bro, besides Sokka and besides Zuko, who are probably their age, everybody was like childish.
I think in the show they acted more like preteens.
That's what I'm
That's
talking
my
about. That's
opinion.
what I'm talking about.
Yeah, yeah, I know that.
And
I'm
so it threw
just
me off because, and this we can talk a little bit about this. We're gonna get to this in the story, but there was a lot of bickering between Sokka and Katara, and how they kept saying the same argument. This, and you this. Stop treating me like I'm a little girl. You're acting like a little girl.
yeah. Uh-huh.
I don't know. They had the same argument almost every single episode.
Yeah, and it didn't really get resolved until that horrible Cave of Wonders adaptation.
Let's swipe into the to our story spites. Is that what it would it be
Hold
referred?
on, hold on, hold on. Before we move on to that, I think Zuko in this film was too young. I feel like he was more of a 16-year-old, 17 in the show. Now they say that Katara's 14, right? And Sokka's 15. He must be 15.
He appears 16 or 17 in the live action, which I didn't mind. I thought that was a good choice.
Um, and I
Is that your
just,
spirit world cat?
no, I mean, if I had a guide animal, it'd probably be a tiger or lion, bigger cat. These would be like more like Momo to me. Um, yeah, I just think they didn't give off the tone correctly of where maturity wise they should have been. And I'm still never gonna get over the age difference and height difference of Aang and Katara. Now it's because it's really interesting in the original show. There was only book 1 through 3 was like a year's span. But this one, see, I think they can improve on this one, where I might actually be okay with the height and age difference. Um, where it's going to be a couple years before they make season 2. And you know what? I say right now, go ahead and make season 2. I'm willing to see how much better it can get, because you set the bar pretty low. So yeah, continue.
Yeah, Suki was fine.
Yeah, Suki was a good.
Suki was good.
Now their relationship was weird. I felt it was awkward. Like they should have just stuck with the way that in the show they did it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Uh, oh, and I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings, but I was disappointed in Azula.
Okay.
I believe is she was very unnecessary this first season, but her little adaptative backstory, nah,
You could cut that out.
cut it out. In the show, she is psychotic and she is something's wrong with her head. But in this one, she was fueled by proving herself. And sure, I understand you have to find like what motivates a character. I'm gonna fight everybody
She
until
wants
you
to
let
be
me
she
loose on
wants
the
to be the
world.
heir. She
Huh?
wants to be the heir.
Yeah, she
She
wants to
wants to
be
be
the
the
heir.
one. She wants to, like you said, prove herself that she is the one and all this stuff.
But in the show, she didn't have to worry about that.
Yeah, and the show was that was never an issue. She knew that she was better than Zuko.
So
And it was Zuko, not that Zuko had to prove himself, but Zuko had to show maturity over
mhm,
her.
yeah, because
Uh,
that was her thing in the show where she was just immature, but she already knew who she was.
yeah, she was confident. She already knew she was bad and number one. This one, okay, they brought in May and Ty Lee.
Let's not talk about it. Let's not talk
Okay,
about
all
it.
right,
No,
all right.
we're not. But what we will talk about, and you better be disappointed with me. They did Boomy dirty.
They did Burma dirty. That's what I was going to talk about next of one of the most horrible changes of the show. Boomy was never like this in the original show. He's not bitter. He's not mean. He's not this bad person. I'm sure the whoever was writing this, they said, I feel like Boomy should be different. Maybe this 100 years should have changed him to be this mean and cynical and pessimistic dude. And I'm like, no, that was like the way he was acting and everything. Yes, Boomy is how would you say nonchalant and like but he's aware. He's super aware. He just like he said in the show, he let himself get captured, but he struck at the right moment
Right.
to do something. And I thought it was morbid. I don't even know if that's the right word, but him telling Aang drop the rock on me because that's what did he say?
He
That's
said, "You
how
have to
he
make the hard choice."
so let me die? What?
Again,
So so disappointed.
again, Appa, Momo, Fire Lord Ozai, Sokka for me were the best in the series. But I will say that Monkiatsu, I like Monkiatsu. I like
Yeah,
him.
he's good. I think he was good.
Yeah.
I was
Did you see the
expecting
owl
someone
though? Did you see the
skinnier and
owl,
shorter.
the
Yeah.
librarian?
I feel like they didn't need to bring that whole spirit world thing
Oh
was
no, no,
just
no, no, no. Don't even get me. We'll talk about it.
I don't think they should have brought the owl in. Here's another thing. I didn't like how in this in all these episodes, Aang never learned water or fire. He never learned earthbending until the second season. But like we missed out on Jung Jung. And why wasn't he learning waterbending at the same time that Katara was? Aang was more natural than her, whatever, because he's the Avatar. But then they made it to the north, and there was that whole storyline that I loved about how Katara's necklace was supposed to be Paku's grand or something. I don't know. Was
They're
supposed to
supposed to
be
be
Paku.
married, or like that was his girlfriend, or
Right, he proposed, and but it was an arranged marriage, and she didn't want to, and so she left. But I like the story of how their grandfather and granddaughter. I thought that was, and so anyhow, even after that fight between Katara and Paku in the live action, Paku never taught her. I was kind of disappointed about that, and disappointed that that Aang never learned water and fire
well,
on his way.
I think that's a great start to our spites with the story stuff.
One more thing, well, just another thing. Just because Aang turned into the ocean spirit does not mean that he's lost, that they became one or something. And then there's no hope that he's coming back. That was never in the original series. Never. He just says, I can do something about it. He goes in the water. Yeah, that's the same. But it's not like he's never gonna come back. Okay, another thing. Momo almost dying? That never happened.
They're trying to pull our heartstrings.
What were they doing?
But that's a good start to transitioning to the story, bro. Because I want to mention a funny note before we get super serious. The whole cabbage thing was ruined in this show.
Hmm.
It was not funny, it was overdone, and it was overplayed. At least in the show, it was subtle and caught you at the right moments. Right? My cabbages
Mhm.
compared to my cabbages.
Oh, and I think Zhao should have been killed by the ocean spirit.
Is that what happens? How does he die in the show? I should have rewatched the final.
The ocean spirit grabs him, takes him away, and Zuko puts out his hand. He's like, oh, he's prideful.
Yeah.
Um,
Let's talk about our letdowns. Yes, I agree. Why wasn't he bending this entire time? That made no sense to me. Why was he struggling with the same struggle every episode? Our characters are supposed to improve, right? They're supposed to overcome over time their weaknesses, but every episode was the same. This is my fault. This is my fault. This is my fault. This is my fault. That gets boring and long over time. Unless you do it differently, or if that's his major thing, show it progress. That was a letdown for me because there was nothing different in each episode. A letdown to me was that whole weird adaptation of the spirit world.
yeah, yeah,
They
yeah.
weren't all supposed to go in together, just him.
It was just supposed to be him.
Ko freaked my kids out. I should not have shown them that episode.
That
Uh,
was never supposed to be in this season.
he's in this season because when he goes in by himself to go find the panda that's been hurt, we didn't even see the panda. We just saw the beast.
Oh, Roku told him that he should go to Ko.
Yeah, because remember he can't even look at him or make any emotions because they'll steal his face.
But wasn't it Roku never had beef with Ko though?
No, it was the other guy.
Kuruk. And
Yeah.
so that's another change.
Um, I think they took way too many adaptation liberties. Okay, I liked the whole Kyoshi thing. I was like, why didn't you do that with Roku? That's what you're supposed to do with Roku. And then, tell me if I'm wrong. It's in book 3 when he meets the turtle and he connects with his past lives, right? So I have 2 questions and 2 complaints. He being the avatar, he can connect to any avatar, so that I don't have a problem with that. But isn't he supposed to be trained by the previous avatar,
Yeah, Roku.
Roku? And 2, do you remember at all in the episode in the cartoon if all of them were so set on that the avatar had to be by himself or by herself? Like I know that in that scene when he's on the turtle, they kind of tell him that there's only one way to stop the Fire Lord. And when he's learning about the chakras, 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 that he has to learn to put the weight of everything else before himself. But in this live action show, it kind of made it sound like the Avatar has to be a loner. And I didn't like that. So that's what I'm asking you, since you're more we should have had our sister on because she's the expert, but you're like the next expert. So I'm asking you.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think that was an okay change, but what I didn't like is we didn't get to see Roku until way later. And Aang was supposed to meet Roku first and get more training from him, especially.
We can only meet with the avatars at their shrines.
Yeah, yeah.
What? What? Redcon. Redcon.
Also, really quickly, I didn't like how they took away from the first episode. I feel like Aang escaping from Zuko, he should have done the twister, the water twister thing. That didn't happen.
There was very little avatar state in this short 8 hour season.
You know, I want to bring this up really quickly, bro. This is what I would have done. I would have made a movie in advance of this live action series where it's about Sozin and Avatar Roku. And the movie finishes with the genocide of
The air nomads.
the air nomads. And we would have met Aang. But this movie would have some focus on more on Roku and Sozin, and they could have developed that more, that storyline. Um, the show, I would have made 10 episodes, not 8. And if there was like some things I could skip, so let me bring on. If they wanted to adapt more of the story, this is what I would have done. Because there's some, let's see, Avatar, bear with me. So I don't think they really needed to go into Huruk or Huru, what is his name? That's maybe something I would have just kind of skimmed over. Maybe they could have combined that with Omashu and like some of Omashu's people got captured or whatever. But I would have expanded more the Winter Solstice Part 1 and Part 2 story with Roku. There could have been a lot of Roku stuff, you know. Jet, the Great Divide. I think that's in unanimous. Avatar fans will say we didn't need that. Um, the Fortune Teller. Oh, yeah. No. In that one, did the Asian lady and the snake, well, whatever it's called. I would have just kept things as close to as similar as the original show. Like I said, maybe take out the Great Divide. Maybe you can combine
Oh,
the
they
who.
didn't even like talk about the Great Divide. They just hinted at it. I remember now. They didn't even talk about the Northern Air Temple. We never got to see it.
Well, yeah, remember they combined all of that into one thing. They combined the Jet storyline, the
Yeah, but they
Northern
never
Air
went to the
Temple.
Northern Air Temple.
Yeah, they never did, but they brought the characters in, and it was so weird. I was like, this is too early in the story.
So, with JP's comment about going forward and making a second season, go for it. Team Avatar all the way. I think the first episode of book two is that he's supposed to start learning the Avatar state and airbending and earthbending. But he has not been taught anything about waterbending. And all of a sudden, and I don't mind this, but pay attention to the way they sped up the story. Katara now is a waterbending master.
Well, she is a master at the end of book one.
But I didn't see
Paku.
any of that in the first season.
No, remember in the show, Paku and it was actually much better in the original show
Well,
because
that's what I'm
Paku
saying.
tells her at the end, like, well, Aang will have an amazing master to learn from.
Yes, but I'm just saying that this entire first season of the live action series did not demonstrate to me that Katara.
Oh, yeah, yeah, this live action series, yeah, yeah.
And I mean, if you go through all, because book two is heavily, heavily about earthbending. You get the library episode, which you know what I'm talking about. Excellent. And when they steal Appa with the sandbenders. But see, here's the thing: Aang gave me no emotion. I could not connect with Aang.
Yeah, 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 exactly. Yeah. Keep going.
And book two is a very emotional book. Very emotional book.
Oh, Katara, Sokka, and Aang never felt like a friend group. Just got to get that out. I never felt that.
They
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 weren't
felt kind of forced. They kind of felt forced. Very forced.
Yeah.
So where do they go from here? How with all the creative adaptations that they're taking, um, where do they go from here?
Well, I just think I think it's I feel like it's a mixed review. Um I think a lot of people did enjoy this adaptation. They were fine about it, but I think everyone is in consensus that there's a lot of changes that we didn't like. So like I said, and you said, like I said, go for it, make a second. Um, just learn from your mistakes, make a better adaptation. You know, it can only get better. That's
There's only
sorry.
one. There's only one course of road right here.
It can only go up. It can only get better from here.
Yeah, it
Uh,
can't. It shouldn't get any worse, at least.
it shouldn't get any worse. Honestly, I want them to keep making it. I know that they can do better.
Well, they're gonna have competition when the Nickelodeon team starts making their animated movies. So
Yeah, and you know, I tried today. I tried rewatching the series, and I could only watch the first episode, but I had to skip through it. I skipped every other episode, and I like watched six. I don't even want to watch seven and eight. So I just don't know. I don't
yeah.
know. I mean, where do they go from here? Well, they just got to get better. You know, what does it say on Rotten Tomatoes again, bro?
Oh, I had it pulled up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they are.
74% average audience score and 61% average tomato meter. So it is still certified fresh as of right now.
Yeah, it's just I think Netflix people are what's it called? They're synthetically improving the score because I don't know. I don't know. Like a lot of people are like a lot of people are giving it 10 out of 10. It's like the best live action adaptation. The
Look,
true adaptation we always needed.
no,
Who is saying this? Stunning, timeless masterpiece.
We grew up with the show.
Went far beyond my expectations.
No, it did not.
So I see when you look on this graph, because I like graphs.
You do like
Um, there's a lot of people giving the tens, and then like the second highest score is an 8, and then it's a 9, and then it's a 7.
well,
And I don't know.
I think we need to give our we need to put our critics hats on and give our cinema score.
This is how live action adaptation is done.
No,
A masterpiece.
no.
Who is writing this stuff? Watching in tears. Love it. What the heck?
Well, they're probably nostalgic. I can kind of see it, but when did they start watching the show?
People are being way too harsh.
We're not being harsh. If we were being harsh, we would say worser things or more bad things.
Maybe we're coming like so this person says they came in with zero expectations.
We came in with expectations
We came with expectations.
because we're wanting a good live action adaptation that expands the story and keeps it going.
Some people like this seriousness about it.
It's not
They
bad. I
some
don't mind
people
the
they
series.
don't want it exactly like the cartoon because it
True,
says it
true.
would have been cringy and ridiculous. What?
I don't want a true. I don't want it exactly like cartoon. That's what I'm saying. Make it similar to
Not better, worse, just
where it
epic.
where it expands the story and gives us more. But that's not what it did, right?
Aang is cringe.
Okay.
Totally blown away. Why people
Literally,
hate everything is beyond me.
he blew it away, boy. Let's give our cinema score.
Okay, see, this person says something really interesting. If you let go of the original show, you'll love it. There you go, people. There you go, people. There you go. There you go. That's how you watch it. That's how you watch it with zero
If I
expectation.
weren't
But
thinking
forgetting
about
the original show.
the original show, to me, I think it would still be an average show. I think, for me at least. Let's give our cinema score. Let's give it.
All right, let's do the math here.
Alrighty. Let's see what if we are in the same wavelength. Story
Story
and
and
plot.
plot. Hold on. We got to think about the story and plot of season 1, which is just Aang coming into this world 100 years later, finding out that there's a war. Um, okay, we need to just look at the show's story and plot. The plot was just what was the plot?
For the live action or for the cartoon?
Live action, live action.
The plot of the movie had too many plot holes to create adaptive, creative story writing abilities. The whole plot was for Aang to feel sorry about himself. So he had to have experiences where he had to learn about how to not feel sorry, but still not learn his lesson.
Plot was just kind of all over the place. I feel like in the original show it was more concise. It was just that he needed to learn the 4 elements and get to the north to get a waterbending master, but someone was chasing him, and well, not someone, we know who was chasing him, and that were the end. That was the end of the events of book 1. This one just was like, I think this plot in this season was just Aang dealing with what he thought was his fault, what it was his fault about the war, that it was the war was because of him.
I'm gonna say something cringy. How is the plot any different from the movie?
Yeah. Felt like very much the same. Oh,
Because
I need to look up that review. Someone said I need to look this up right now. Hold on. Someone said on Twitter, Kami Animes, whatever, said when M Night version is better. Oof. And they have the Oppenheimer GIF.
is that what you were looking for?
Yeah. Someone said Shyamalan was better. Version was better. Yeah. That's what I was looking for. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the reason I made that comment was because I the entire season, this entire first season, he couldn't get over the fact that it wasn't his fault, or he didn't
Yeah.
want the
Yeah.
responsibility. Again, this show is better than the movie, guys, but I'm just saying out loud, how is the plot any different from the movie? Because at least in the cartoon show, he accepts responsibility and is learning along the way on his little adventures. So
Yeah, there
I
was
meant
no adventure from him. I didn't feel that. Like he's like I wanted to ride this like the Kyoshi fish or something. I wanted to ride the
they were
penguins.
saying they didn't want him to do that in this series, which is fine if you want to make him a little bit more stoic. But that part where she's trying to learn how to do water bending, don't just teach her, do something.
Yeah.
Anyways, I'm gonna amend my original statement that the story and plot was a 6. I want to say a 5. What do you think? 5?
I'm gonna go with you and say it's a 5. Villain.
This is hard because Zuko's not a villain, and I at towards the end I think he did a great job.
Well, if anything, in this show, it's the Fire Nation and then Fire Lord Ozai, then Commander Zhao, then Zuko on this line
So
of
this is mixed. This is mixed. Fire
antagonists.
Lord, Fire Lord Ozai, 11 out of 10. Fire Nation, 7 out of 10. Zhao, 4 out of 10. So what's the average?
Say those numbers again.
Fire Lord Ozai, 11 out of
11.
10. Fire Nation, 7 out of 10. Zhao, 4 out of 10.
That's it.
So yeah, I mean, those are the only numbers.
7.33. So
All right.
7. Let's just give it a 7. I think
Flo, this is your
that's
favorite.
okay.
I'll let you lead. Flo,
Flow sucked. It didn't feel like the show. It was weird
2.
too. Acting 0.
I mean, we gotta
1.
1?
The acting sucked, bro. The acting
Yeah,
sucked.
until episode 6.
Until episode 6, yes. So a 3.
All right, 3. Okay.
Hero. Hey, oh my gosh. I was so unhappy about him.
Well, he's a
No,
hero.
no.
Sokka's a hero. Katara's a hero. Um, Appa is a hero. Let's give Appa some brownie points. I want to give
Okay.
Sokka an 8. I want to give Katara a 6. And I want to give Aang a 4. And I want to give Appa some brownie points.
Okay. 8.
6 and 4. Oh, and Aang can fly, so brownie points.
How much are those brownie points?
You tell me what the average is, and then I'll tell you.
Well, I'm already
What's the average? What did the math tell you?
6. The average is 6.
6? Yeah, 6.
Okay, so 5 plus 7 plus 2 plus 3 plus 6. 23 out of 50, so 46.
Ooh, it did not pass the cinema score.
Which I think it's a true I think it's a true rating. I think that show got a 5 out of 10. Really, if we're speaking truthfully. That show was not a 7.5 out of 10. And no way in heck was it a 10 out of 10. But if you kept in mind what those people said, if you forgot about the original and you've never seen the original and you
Uh,
accept it's an adaptation and you have zero expectations, then sure.
we are not going to tell you the full story of our airbending exploits. But what I will tell you that our love for critiquing movies came from reading the fan reviews of M. Night Shyamalan's The Last Airbender.
Yes. Yes. Yes,
You want to
100%.
know where we started, Brohood Productions?
That night,
That night.
we had the funnest night ever. That was, oh my gosh. We had
Ooh,
so much fun.
that's good. Good job, Netflix, for reminding us why we love critiquing movies. So I'll give you brownie points for that, Netflix. Our Brohood Productions approval, mid. You want to be entertained? Go watch this show.
Like, watch it once. I mean, I tried watching it a second time, and I was like, I can watch episode 1, a couple scenes. I could watch episode 6, a couple of scenes. I could watch the episode about Iroh.
I could
Was
watch Kyoshi
it?
again. I could watch episode 2.
Yeah, I guess so.
I thought her showing up.
Yeah, I believe
Personal,
that was a good change, but still, Aang should have received more instruction from Roku.
yeah. Personal ratings. JP and I like to give our ratings out of 10, which then we equate into stars. So if I gave this show a 5 out of 10, that means it received 2.5 stars.
I'm with you. I give it a 5 out of 10.
And like JP said, there's nothing you can do but get better. And I think they will. I think they'll get better.
I think the thing is, those guys, they're only going to focus on like, they're just going to say, like, oh, most of the people thought it was good. That's what I don't know if they're good though. And I think, what's his name? Oh my gosh, DiMartino, right? What's his name, bro?
What are you talking about?
The original writer.
Oh, the original writer for Last Airbender.
DiMartino and
There's 2 of them.
Brian Konietzko. I bet they're gonna really pay attention to what the real fans thought.
Real fans.
Because I mean, you just can't. If you're a true fan, you can't go into the show and not think about the original. Because here's a great example. Look at Marvel. That wasn't a live action adaptation.
The
Was
first
it
11 years.
exactly? Huh?
The first 11 years is what you're referring to.
Yeah. Well, all of it. Because in the it's not exactly what the comic is, but you love this version. That's not what Avatar did. I'm sorry, guys. You can watch Marvel and you can read the comics, you love the comics, the original, and you can watch these movies and love it for what they are.
Most of
Because
them.
they huh?
Most of them.
I mean, just focus on phase 1. Focus on phase 1 for right now.
You mean the Infinity Saga?
The Infinity Saga, yeah. I mean, like, yeah, the original storyline for the Infinity Saga is Thanos wanted to prove his love to what's her name? Death. That's a cool storyline. And he's like, you know what? I'm gonna kill as many people for you. Now that's pretty intense, pretty
Not kid
dark.
friendly. Not kid friendly.
Huh?
Not
Sorry,
kid
yeah.
friendly. It's not kid friendly.
It's not kid friendly. But then you bring a modern twist to it where Thanos is like all these people, which I don't understand either. They said resources are finite and limited. And he's like,
You should be
only
good.
solution is to kill half of the universe. Still, it's I think it worked. I think it worked. That's my opinion. I think,
I think you're entitled to your opinion, and I don't think that your opinion is wrong.
but this did live action version work? No.
Is it
No, it
better than the
didn't.
movie? Yes.
Is it better than the movie? Yeah. Yeah, of course. Yeah. I mean, anything. Anything is better than that. M. Night Shyamalan, I hope you remember that. I hope you remember. Failure is good. You failed in that movie. I gotta stop. I'm just audience. I don't care what you say. It's not a 10 out of 10. It's not a 9 out of 10. It's not an 8 out of 10. 7 out of 10 is really stretching it. But maybe I would have given it a 7 out of 10 if I would have come having zero expectations and knowing it's an adaptation. It's not the
I
same.
think I would have given it a 7 if they did exactly what I just said, that they expanded on the story and gave me more.
Yeah, I mean, because you can still make it different.
They planted seeds in the first episode with Roku's best friend, Sozin.
You know what, bro? We should do a second video of how we would have written this story. We're gonna make a second video regardless.
We're gonna make a second video. We'll talk to you next time.
Brohood out.